I like an effortless style, just something that's just easy to wear, and I don't have to think about what I'm going to wear in terms of putting items together. I just want it to feel effortless. Do you? Because I've always felt that way, and sometimes I just be drawn to white t-shirt and jeans because we all get told this is a staple in our wardrobe, and yeah, maybe it is, and some people wear white t-shirt and jeans during the summer, but I want a bit more variety. So this is where I started to go on a journey discovering my colours. The past couple of years, it's been such a discovery in terms of my identity, who I am, and what really I like in terms of my style, because I wasn't so sure that my current style would actually reflected me, really resonate with me anymore. I'd look in my wardrobe and just think, actually, it doesn't work with me, and I'm not that person anymore. I've changed in terms of my style. And sometimes, you know, we go through these different periods in life, don't we, where we just have these shifts and changes, and sometimes we embrace it, sometimes we ignore it. And I think the most important thing to do is just to connect with your intuition and just think it's like nostalgia, isn't it? It just reminds you of the past, and you end up holding on to those little increments of those times, those little memories. But ultimately we have to ask ourselves this question: is this helpful? Is this helpful for me right now in the place that I'm at? And if it's not, then maybe it's the time to just take that first step. And that's what I did, just took that first step. To go on to book my headshots and work with different photographers, you know, you have the description. I would look at the description, look at what's required, look at what they recommend, long, you know, turtleneck tops, certain colours that they feel pop. And ultimately I'd just follow that. What I didn't realise back then is those colours may not complement my skin tone, and some of the colours from the past that I chose didn't really complement my skin tone. And this is where you need to realise what your colours are, so they do complement your skin tone and bring out the best in you. And this is where I discovered colours, going on various different YouTube videos, just discovering it myself really. So I didn't go to any colour analysis, although they're great, and I highly recommend going to see one if you are stuck discovering what your colours are, because this is just for educational purposes, to help you to maybe just create these little shifts. Maybe you're just in that place of just making those shifts in your journey, in your wardrobe, and this might be helpful for you. Colour analysis is so important for me in particular. Well, that's only the basis, I'd say, in terms of foundation. So in my other video, if you haven't seen my other video, I'm going to link it after this, or I might link it in this bit. It's all about decluttering your wardrobe and just making those shifts so you can just see what it is that represents you right now, and starting to just take things out of your wardrobe, but being very strategic rather than just taking things out and going, I've done this plenty of times, I've just taken things out, gone back to the box that I've put it in, and then put it back on, or tried it on and actually realised, oh, actually that's the reason I put it in there in the first place. There's always a reason that we do these things, but we don't always sometimes even want to let go, as I mentioned about before. So again, let me know in the description below your journey on this. We see it almost like an observer, so you start to see what actually reflects you and who you are. So that was really helpful for me. So yeah, if you haven't checked out my decluttering video, then just check it out. I will put it in the description below so you can have a look too. So when it comes to my colours, that was very, very helpful. It was a discovery because a lot of the colours that I discovered suited me anyway, and I did have an inkling what I was in terms of my colour palette anyway. It's just some of them I was a bit sort of like, I haven't tried these before, and you know what, I'll be completely honest with you, I was such a beige person. I would wear beige trousers beige top or white top and beige trousers. Can you relate to that in the past? So I'll put a little picture of me. I quite liked this outfit actually, but the only thing is it was a bit boring. You know, back then, what was this? I think it was like 2018, I think 2019, and beige was such a thing. You know, different types of beige goes with everything. Don't you get told that? It goes with everything. So I thought, yes, it goes with everything. It goes with everything, including my white tops. So although I thought, yes, it looks very understated, it's nice, but now I just think it's quite, you know, quite bland. And I might wear something that's beige, or I've got a lovely trench coat. I won't get rid of that, and that's my spring coat, but it suits spring, and it suits like early summer, and that is like sort of an off-white, not off-white, it's a bit more beige really, but not like really like overpowering beige. But that would be as far as I go in terms of beige. I don't think I wear anything that's beige really anymore, if I'm honest. So this has been a journey for me in terms of colours, because sometimes we are so resistant when it comes to change, aren't we? We are so resistant. We don't like change as human beings, because change is scary. Change is unfamiliar to our minds, so we reject it. So I was in that place where I was rejecting it. I was thinking, oh, I don't know about that. I don't know about that. I don't really wear much brown. I haven't wore brown. Oh, that might be a bit not quite right for me. Or I don't quite like that colour. Even though some of these were earthy tones. And olive looks quite good as long as it's got brown in it for me. But I still was a bit hesitant at first. So it took me a while to just try these colours on, and then actually I was like, yeah, I was starting to warm to it. And this is what you might find. Again, let me know in the description below what your journey is like discovering colours, because it's never easy, because you might be feeling like, oh, this is a challenge in itself, but hopefully this will help you today anyway. So, okay, so just looking at the colour analysis, I'm going to go through this with you. So you've got winter on one side, so you've got winter bright, very, very bright colours. You've got true winter, again, all of these are cool colours. I think that has a little bit more, it's just a little bit more subtle, so not as bright. And then you've got a dark winter, so very dark colours. With winter, you are in the great zone in terms of black, so you will suit black because you have a coolness to your skin tone. But we will go through this today so you can hopefully work out if you are cool or warm. So then we've also got, on the cool spectrum on the other side, we've got summer. So you've got a light summer, so that's very, very light colours, very pastel colours. Again, these are all blue based, so they're all blue based, so it means that they have blue in them. So that's a very cool tone. And then you've got true summer as well. You've got a soft summer, so again, very, very soft. And what we're looking at here is just very more muted. So rather than it being very, very light pastel, it's just a little bit more muted in terms of colouring. Then you have the warmer side, which we'll be looking at. So we'll just go to the first one, which is spring. So the spring is, you've got bright spring. So bright spring is very bright in colouring. So they usually look good in red, but there's certain types of red, making sure that it has yellow in it rather than blue toned, because blue toned tends to make you look quite washed out. So you want to make sure that it has yellow in it. You've got a true spring. True springs tend to look very good in blues. They really do. They look good in lots of different blues, especially cornflower blue is a lovely colour for a spring, I think. And then you've got light spring, again, tend to be leaning into pastel colours, very sort of light. They tend to look good in yellow. So I'm not sure if there's a blue toned yellow, but yellow, generally speaking, a light yellow, sort of like very sort of like sunny type yellow, they tend to look good in. Yeah, so then you've also got on the other side, at the bottom, you've got autumn. So you've got dark autumn. So with dark autumn, you'd be looking at, you know, something like a very deep khaki colour, very deep rust colour, very deep brown, very deep chocolate brown sort of colours. And then you've got sort of true autumn, which is kind of more warm in tone, just has a little bit more warmth to it. And then you've got soft autumn. So soft autumn, you'll be looking at very muted colours, so a softer brown as opposed to a chocolate brown. So I'm in the soft autumn area. So the soft autumn in terms of the diagram, my colour analysis. So those are the colours that tend to complement me the best. So if I wear something like a chocolate brown, let's say, I did have a chocolate brown coat before, but it just, you saw the coat before me. And I think it's not just because obviously I've got dark hair, but it just looked too overpowering on my skin tone because it was leaning into the dark autumn, warm autumn. It was just had too much warmth in it to complement me. So I needed something muted, like I mean, this is a lighter brown colour, something like a mocha mousse. Looks great on autumns. A mushroom brown, that's another one as well. Okay, so just have a look at the diagram and you'll be able to see, hopefully it'll help you to see where you are on that, but we'll also go through how you can find your tone temperature first. Right, so let's have a look at tone temperature. Tone temperature, when we're looking at what your temperature is, sometimes it's easy, sometimes it's not. That's what I always find anyway. So I'm going to put 2 up to me. So actually, I'm a soft autumn. So I'm actually on the neutral spectrum, which means that I'm actually neutral rather than warm or cool. So I can actually have a little bit of coolness, so I can borrow colours from summer. Because grey tends to look good on me as long as it's muted enough, as long as it has, let's say, just a bit heathered, kind of like a morale sort of grey, tends to look quite good. It's better if it's mushroom grey, so it has a bit of brown in it, but strictly speaking, if I go too warm, it just doesn't work for me. This is what I've realised. So if you're in this area and you're in autumn, you'll know exactly what I mean by this. It's not easy when you realise that you are a neutral and not a cool tone or just a warm tone. But let's go into this in terms of temperature. Okay, so I've got gold. Okay. Let me get the silver out. So typically, if you are both, you should suit both. I personally feel I suit gold better, so I'm not sure on that one, but yeah, so you've got gold. So these are both gold. This is what I've got in terms of showing temperature. And then you've got silver. So let me know in the description below what you think on that. I personally think gold. I lean more towards warm than I do towards cool, but having a little bit of coolness can help sometimes. Having a bit of grey in colours helps, so it's just not too warm. Yeah, so I'd say gold. So let me know, and just try this sort of test at home. Just get, you know, bit jewellery, Put it up next to you. See, okay. Put it up next to your skin. And what do you see in terms of, you know, what complements you better? Because I can clearly see here, you know, next to my skin tones, you got gold and then you've got silver. Yep. Okay. So that's my temperature testing. So yes. So try that at home and see if it helps. So I'm just going to pop that away. The next thing we're going to check for temperature is, well, just colours really. This should help in terms of knowing if you are a winter. So if you are definitely a winter, deep winter maybe, or just on the winter side, you will suit white. So whites can be a bit tricky for me sometimes because I'm like, is this white? Is this very white? Is it, because there's a subtle difference and you might have a really good eye for it, so let me know. So this looks, I think this is definitely creamier and this is whiter. So typically, you know, they kind of, some of them maybe lost their colouring. And then some of them are still white. So this one I think is a bit creamier. So if you just hold it up next to you and you can see, okay, so which complements your skin tone better? Are you white, so you suit white, pure white, which should be on the winter side, cool side, or maybe a summer, but sometimes even with summer it's better to, because you're on a muted side, it's usually better to have a little bit of just slightly off-white rather than going pure white. So winter is the going for white typically. So yeah, you've got these two different whites. Let me know in the description below what you think. And yes, also got this white top on as well. Sure which, this is definitely creamier, this is whiter. So sometimes it just doesn't work well. And I always find this when I'm, because I'm working on this film at the moment and I'm doing everything for this film in terms of organising, producing it, writing it, co-writer, and I'm also doing the wardrobe for it as well. So it's finding the colours that complement the colours that you have that work really well together. They just complement each other. So I always find if you wear white, pure white with beige, you kind of need a bit of an off-white, but you could pull it off. I just like blending sometimes. Right, and this one, you can clearly see it's a cream. This one all the way, I think for me, it's just nice and it just works better. But sometimes it's hard to find specific colours. And I've been on this rampage for a couple of years, probably over the past year, where just trying to find the right colours isn't always easy. So yeah, try that test at home. You've got the winter side. So if you look great in white from doing that test, then most likely you might be a winter. So typically if you're winter, you also, it's to do with the contrast of your skin. This can be done by just taking a picture of yourself and turning it grey, and you can see the contrast between your skin, your lips, your eyes, your hairline. You can see the contrast. If it all kind of blends together, you might be sort of like on the low to medium side. You've got low, you've got very low, or you've got sort of medium, which is where I kind of sit. Or you might be high, which is where a winter would sit. So your lips might be very red. You might have very red lips, and then very bright eyes, bright blue eyes, and they really stand out, and your cheeks get very flushed as well. In terms of temperature as well, so with your undertone, another way to check that is just to see, can you see if you have more of a yellow undertone in your skin? And sometimes your overtone is different to your undertone. So you can just about see, and it's easier to see if you have colours and you hold them up next to you, I find. But just have a look and see, are you more yellow undertone? Can you see that? Which you would be on the warm side, or do you have more pinkish in your skin, or you have like a little bit of bluish in your skin? Do you tend to get flushed? So your cheeks go quite red, maybe. So I am myself, I have a bit of yellow, but I'm also more on the pink side. I have more pinkish tone to my skin rather than being too yellow, which is why I'm not too warm in my skin tone. Another test, which apparently in terms of colour analysis, they don't say it's very accurate, but checking your veins, like a vein test, I'm not sure about this, if I'm honest. Looking at your veins and saying, okay, so if I got blue veins, if you got blue veins, then you are cool toned. If you have green veins, then you are warm toned. If you have blue and green, then you are neutral. So I'm on the neutral, but I'm not sure how accurate that is. Another test you can do is, if you tend to tan easily, they say that you're on the warm side. If you tend to burn easily, you may be on the cooler side. But personally, I feel the best way to check this is the gold and the silver method. The whites, trying that up next to you and just seeing what complements your skin tone better. Do you tend to look very grey when you put white up next to you and you kind of fade away? So again, let me know in the description below. This is all a journey. It's all a journey to discover who you are and what you like. And what I will say is, this is it's just a foundation, and it just gives you a piece that you can use. You don't have to go into your closet now. If anyone's watching this and thinking, none of this represents who I am and everything is black, take your time. Rome wasn't built in a day. Just have a look at what you have and just take things piece by piece, rather than taking everything out and saying, I'm not going to wear this. Because if you're a neutral tone, black doesn't look that bad on you, especially if you don't wear it too close to your face and you will have a black skirt. I've got a black skirt and I'd wear like an ivory top with it. So don't just take everything out of your wardrobe just because you watched this video, because I've been there and I've done that myself, and it's not helpful. Just take it piece by piece and do things gradually and you'll find your way. That's what I've done myself. Anyway, if you found this video helpful, don't forget to subscribe. Let me know in the description below what your journey's been like trying to discover your colours. Has it been easy? Has it been a challenge? So for me, it's been a challenge, as all things are when we're discovering things about ourselves. But yeah, let me know and I'll speak to you soon.